A napkin drops onto my tray. 3 words in rushed ink. You are not safe. Her hand shakes as she sets it down. I look up. The flight attendant's lips barely move, eyes wide, pupils fixed. Not irritation. Something colder. I'm Isla Warren, 30, a travel nurse. I've watched life drain out of people, but this face freezes my breath. I'm flying to Boston to surprise my mom after heart surgery. It's supposed to be a happy flight, a secret reunion. LAX hums the way airports always do. Kids against glass, business clicks of keyboards, gate calls blurring together. Still, something underneath feels off. The man in the black jacket, 2 rows up, keeps opening the overhead bin empty every time. Calm, rehearsed. Too calm. A teenager across the aisle squeezes a backpack, knuckles pale, whispering to himself. The attendant moves back down the aisle. Her name tag flashes Alyssa. She pretends to check latches, but her eyes trace faces. When she passes me again, she doesn't meet my gaze. Just places the napkin closer, as if adjusting my drink. I slide it open, same message. You are not safe. No joke. No prank camera crew. Just the faint tremor in her hand. A low vibration hums through the armrest as the engines spool. The fan hisses overhead, recycled air thick with fuel. I glance toward first class. A line of yellow zip ties seals the overhead bins. That isn't standard procedure. Alyssa leans in, voice no louder than breath. Say you feel sick. Ask to leave. Please. Then she straightens, fixes a professional smile on her face, and walks away. I sit frozen. My pulse drums in my ears. Everyone else seems calm, laughing, reading, oblivious. But the man in the black jacket keeps watching the cockpit. If I press the call button, I draw attention. If she's right, attention could be the worst thing in the world. I grip the armrests. The plane jolts forward, taxiing toward the runway. I inhale. I hesitate. The napkin lies half hidden under my cup. 3 words burn through it. You are not safe. If I press the call button, everyone looks. If I don't, I might never land. The man in the black jacket moves again, stretching, casual, watching the cockpit like it owes him something. Each time I shift, his eyes follow. That's reason enough to stay still. A shadow crosses my tray. The attendant Alyssa, her name tag catching the light, leans close, as if checking my belt. Her whisper, keep your eyes forward. I'm going to ask if you're okay. You're dizzy. Nod once. She straightens, smile fixed. Ma'am, are you feeling all right? I nod. She crouches, blocking the aisle. Say you feel faint. I feel faint. Good. A water cup appears on my tray. Let's get you some air up front. Her arm slips beneath mine. To the cabin, it looks like routine care. The man in the black jacket tilts his head, still tracking, but Alyssa's body shields me. We move forward in slow, practiced steps. The galley curtain closes behind us, coffee, metal, recirculated air. She lifts the interphone. Cabin to cockpit. Passenger unwell request, return to gate. A pause, then a clipped copy. The plane's pace eases. I feel it in my knees. Alyssa buckles me into the jump seat, hands steady on my arms. You're doing fine. Someone near your row is watching for movement. Don't look back. Is this about me? It's about a seat, she says. Yours. Outside the curtain, an overhead latch slams. The sound freezes her mid-breath. She taps the interphone once more. Cabin secure. Then, softer, stay quiet. The plane turns back toward the terminal. Passengers murmur, unaware. Another attendant enters with a small medical kit. Alyssa flicks a penlight across my eyes for show. Pupils equal, she says, louder than needed. Then, lower. If anyone not in uniform approaches, don't speak. I nod. The engines idle, a bump, then stillness. The world steadies. Alyssa unclips her harness, calls out, Prepare doors for arrival. The latch rotates. Cooler terminal air rushes in. She leans close. When the door opens, you go first. Don't stop. What about my bag? You leave it. The handle lifts wider. Her palm presses my elbow. Walk. I step forward. The curtain stirs behind us. I don't turn. Terminal air spills in, sharp with metal and rain. Then a calm male voice from the cabin calls measured, polite, almost kind. Miss, you forgot your napkin. The chill from the jet bridge cuts through the recirculated air. Alyssa keeps her hand firm on my elbow as we step forward. I don't look back, but I feel the weight of the man in the black jacket watching. Security vests move along the corridor outside. The moment we clear the threshold, Alyssa guides me to a crew bench. Sit. Don't touch your phone, she says command, not comfort. I start to speak, she lifts a finger. Not yet. Through the small window, the jet bridge fills with movement. Two ground crew, a uniformed officer, another flight attendant with a hard face. Alyssa's radio crackles. She listens, then studies me like she's deciding how much I can carry. You were never meant to be in 14C, she says. What does that mean? Assignments were changed this morning. You got moved to 14C, right? I nod, throat dry. We were told operations expected a protected traveler in 14C. Her exhale is the first honest sound I've heard from her. It looks like the man in the black jacket realized before anyone else. Footsteps and clipped radio chatter grow louder. A man in a dark windbreaker flashes a badge and ducks into the aircraft. Alyssa lowers her voice. You'll hear noise. Stay here until I say. Noise comes fast shouts, a scuffle, the metallic snap of cuffs, a child crying somewhere down the aisle. I grip my knees and stare at the floor. Minutes pass. Alyssa's radio clicks again. She stands, nods once, turns back to me. It's contained, she says. They found an electronic device with indicators in the overhead above your row. My stomach drops. What kind of device? Her eyes flick to the window, flashing lights surround the plane. Then, flat, enough that specialists are handling it. A bomb? I ask. She doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. The officer in the windbreaker reappears at the jet bridge door, trades a look with Alyssa, then faces me. Ma'am, we'll need you to come with us. My legs feel heavy as I stand. Alyssa steadies me and whispers, You weren't the target, but after this, you're part of it. They'll have questions. What happens now? You tell them everything, she says. From the napkin to when you stood up. Every detail could matter. The officer gestures toward the terminal. A dull thunk carries as equipment locks to the door. We'll debrief you in a secure room, he says. You're safe now. Safe. The word lands and wobbles. As we move down the jet bridge, a pulse of cooler air hits. Sirens thrum beyond the glass. I glance back once the aircraft door is open, yellow tape stretched across the frame. Inside, under the bins at 14C, the Discovery waits behind a cordon. And for the first time since the napkin touched my tray, I understand. You're not safe wasn't just a warning. It was the countdown already running. They lead me into a small room off the gate, beige walls, metal table, 2 chairs. The door closes with a heavy seal. A recorder clicks on. The officer from the jet bridge sits across from me. I'm Harris, he says. We'll keep this brief. Alyssa steps in and stays near the door, neutral, unreadable. Name? Harris asks. Isla Warren. Seat? 14C. Start at boarding, he says. Tell me what you saw and what you did. I go straight through it, the napkin, her shaking hand, the man in the black jacket, opening an empty bin, Alyssa's whisper. The move to the front. No guesses, no flourishes. Just what happened. When I finish, Harris nods once. Thank you. We may need your phone for review. With your consent, we'll image it and return it. I hand it over. He slips it into a sealed pouch and initials the label. Another knock. An agent leans in and speaks low to Harris. I catch fragments, subject in custody device, secured by specialists. Gate area clear. Harris closes the door again. I look at Alyssa. Was any of this about me? It was about a seat, she says. 14C. She chooses her words. We were told operations expected a protected traveler there. Plans changed. Someone else didn't get that update. So the seat stayed a target, I say. She nods once. The door opens. Harris gestures to the hall. We're moving you to a quieter space. The terminal outside is almost empty, shops dark. Departure boards stalled on DELAYED. Two agents guide a man past us with his head down and wrists bound. I don't see his face. I don't have to. The posture is the same as in the cabin, the patient. Bored watchfulness turned stale. Farther down, the teenager sits on a bench under a blanket, an officer kneeling to his eye level. His hands shake while he talks. He doesn't look over. They take me into another room, smaller, softer lighting. Harris sets a small evidence bag on the table without opening it. Inside is the napkin, folded, the ink slightly bled but legible. You are not safe. For chain of custody, he says. We'll keep the original secured. We may take your prints to exclude you from handling, if needed. He waits for the nod, then continues. You did exactly what you needed to do. A woman in airport slacks passes the open doorway, then doubles back. Not airline closer cut, different badge. She steps in. Alyssa follows a beat later, the same face, a different bearing. The woman speaks first. Mrs. Warren, you'll have a point of contact after tonight. If anyone reaches out about this flight, you call that number before you answer anything else. I glance at Alyssa. Who are you really? Alyssa answers carefully. My name is Alyssa Hart. I work in aviation security. Today, I was also your flight attendant. She lets that settle. We suspected a risk centered on 14C. We needed confirmation and a way to move you without drawing attention. If I had pressed the call button earlier, he would have watched where help went, Alyssa says. Better to move undercover. Harris gathers his notes. We'll arrange transport to a hotel tonight and a follow-up tomorrow. If your booking app pings, if anything about 14C appears on your account, or if anyone contacts you, you let us know first. I nod. They walk me out a service corridor that smells like concrete and cleaner. At a side exit, a car idles with its lights low. Harris opens the rear door. Alyssa pauses beside me. You listened, she says. That mattered. I think of the armrest's vibration, the weight of watching eyes, the ink on thin paper. I almost didn't. Almost is the difference, she says. I get in the car. The door shuts. The terminal recedes into glass and metal as we pull away. In my pocket, the hotel keycard presses against a smaller rectangle of paper they'd shown me through plastic and logged away the reason I stood, the reason I'm here. Tonight won't be quiet. But for the first time since 14C, the danger feels on the other side of a door. They move me to a quieter room with a recorder on the table. Harris states the time, the flight number, my name, then lets me talk. I give them the whole thing in order. The napkin, Alyssa's hand shaking, the man in the black jacket watching the cockpit, the move to the front, the gate return. No guesses. No filling in blanks. Just what happened. When it's done, Harris clicks the recorder off. Thank you, he says. We'll coordinate your transport and a point of contact. Alyssa stays near the wall, arms folded, her airline look back in place for anyone passing by the open door. To me, her voice is lower. You did exactly what you needed to do. Another agent steps in, speaks quietly to Harris. Primary from her row is in custody. Secondary contact detained near baggage claim. Specialists have the device. He doesn't say more. The man in the black jacket? I ask. In custody, Harris says. He was watching 14C and coordinating. He's not talking yet. And the teenager? Alyssa answers. Coerced. He tried to flag it without drawing attention. He's with people who can help him now. Harris sets a simple card on the table, white, with a phone number and first name. This is your point of contact. If anyone reaches out to you about this flight, your booking, or 14C, you call this number first. If your airline app or email shows changes you didn't make, call. Don't reply to strangers. Don't post about tonight. I won't, I say. He nods. We imaged your phone with consent. It stays sealed unless we need it. You'll get it back as soon as processing is done. He gestures to the clear pouch with initials along the seal. Chain intact. They walk me via service corridors, again, quiet concrete, echoing steps. At a side exit, a car idles with the lights low. The air outside is colder than before. Harris opens the rear door. Hotel tonight. Brief follow-up in the morning. Then you go where you were headed. Boston, I say. My mom. Good, he says. Go. Alyssa lingers beside me a moment. You listened, she says. That changed the outcome. I almost didn't. Almost is still a choice, she says. You made it. I get in the car. The door closes with a solid click. The driver pulls away from the service lane, past the empty glass and late-night cruise. In my pocket, the contact card presses against the hotel key sleeve plain paper. One number, a name I can call if anything shifts. My phone buzzes once when they hand it back in the car. My sister, are you safe? I type yes. Tell Mom I'll be there soon. Then I add, if something feels wrong, leave. Don't argue with yourself. A few blocks from the airport, the driver's radio murmurs and then goes silent. No sirens. No drama. Just a city that never really sleeps. I lean back and finally breathe all the way in. The napkin stays where it belongs, sealed, logged, out of my hands. The words don't need the paper to keep their shape. You are not safe got me up. Listening kept me here. Morning comes soft and gray through the hotel curtains. The TV is muted on a loop of flight delays and weather maps. Nothing about my flight, nothing about last night. A knock at the door breaks the silence. It's Harris again, no folder this time, just coffee. Processing's complete, he says. Your phone's cleared and logged back to you. He waits until I check the seal, initials intact, before I open it. The buzz of normal life returns. Missed calls from my sister, a voicemail from Mom, automated airline alerts. Ordinary chaos. We'll drive you to the airport in an hour, he says. Different carrier, new seat assignment. Everything's screened. I nod. 14C? He smiles faintly. Not this time. Alyssa appears behind him, still in civilian clothes. No uniform, no name tag. You're clear to travel, she says. I wanted to make sure you heard that from me. Did they say who the seat was really meant for? She shakes her head. That's above both of us now. A pause. They'll keep it quiet. You should too. I wasn't planning to post about it, I say. That's good, she replies. Silence keeps truth from turning into rumor. The ride back to the airport feels shorter. Harris talks about small things, weather fronts, the morning rush, the best coffee past security. It's filler, but welcome. I glance once at the sky, a pale streak of silver where the sun is fighting to rise. At the terminal, Harris gives me a plain envelope, contact info, and a signed release for your statements. We'll reach out if anything else surfaces. Will Alyssa be on my flight again? She'll be where she's needed, he says. At the checkpoint, she's already there, talking to a gate agent, blending in as if nothing happened. She catches my eye, offers a small nod, not a smile, not a goodbye, just confirmation, you made it through. Hours later, Boston appears beneath the clouds. The landing feels steady, unremarkable. For the first time, I let the hum of descent calm me instead of warn me. In the arrivals hall, I spot my sister first, waving her phone like a flag, recording the reunion she almost didn't get to film. Mom stands beside her, pale but smiling, hand pressed to her heart. I walk toward them, suitcase rolling behind me. Every step feels heavier and lighter at once. When we finally hug, Mom whispers, "I prayed for your flight." "I think someone else did too," I answer. Later that night, after everyone's asleep, I empty my pockets, boarding pass, hotel receipt, the plane contact card Harris gave me. Just one line of text and a number. Nothing dramatic. I slide it into a drawer beside my bed, not as a reminder of fear, but of timing, of how fast everything can shift. The napkin's still in evidence somewhere, sealed and cataloged, but the words live without it. You are not safe. Sometimes it doesn't mean danger. Sometimes it means pay attention. And that's what I plan to keep doing.